We try to bring you high-quality educational and informational content every single day. Why do you think the price is having such an anemic time? The news story of the hour. Jump onto the chart. Is this the beginning of a massive financial unraveling? We got to add a little addendum to the show map today. So we start here on the daily. Now, we've been looking at the RSI on Bitcoin's daily chart for the last several days. It always has been, but it's been increasing over the last 50 years since the government has been bigger. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and welcome back to Coffee and Crypto Live. This is your week daily morning show where we bring you the latest and everything Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And in today's episode, we are going to be talking about a massive buy signal that just flashed on none other than Lux Algo on the daily chart. If you guys are not familiar, Lux Algo is one of our favorite technical indicators here at the Crypto Jeb YouTube channel, and we love this indicator because it gives us signals that tell us exactly where the market is going to go next. And we're very excited about this signal because it's pointing towards a massive breakout, more than likely coming in just the next few days, which is exactly what we have been expecting. So today we're going to look at this buy signal and we're going to extrapolate how Bitcoin may move along with its cryptocurrency compatriots over the course of the Christmas weekend. I do want to give you a quick announcement here before we get started. I am going to be taking Monday and Tuesday off of the stream. There will not be any content going up on Monday, but I am going to pre-record a video that will go up on Tuesday at the 10 a.m. slot. So look forward to content then. And then on Wednesday, we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming. I am looking forward to Christmas. Tell me in chat if you are as well. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy whatever you celebrate. Happy New Year's. Happy all of that. Have a wonderful end of December. EOD. Let's put it that way. All right. Let's go ahead and read some chat here. Quinn Daughtery is in chat. Sean O'Brien's in chat. Grand Roofing Incorporated in chat. Joe Bollier linking with Naz. World Turtles here. Get Right Media. 508 Visuals. Deep Diver. RJ. Josh Wakeman DC. Bob Riley. Benny Barry. Stacy Rumsey. His boy Elroy. RK. Juan Rivera. D Waver. One House Productions. Crypto Mini Bike. AJ Knight. Happy Mac. Tim Nordskog. Brad Iries, Awesome Mystic, Siobhan Golay, Brian Barrett, Eric Taylor, Kenny M, Psychedelic Sunshine, James Bond, the one and only 007 is in chat, Eric Taylor, Mike Lowry, Jackson Crawford, Alex Nybo, Crypto for Crypto Ohio, John Stoley one. There's so many of you guys. Goodness gracious. Jeannie Heath, you guys just, everybody wants to drop their name in chat just to see how fast I can say all of your names. Warren McCarty, his boy Elroy again, Vintage Excellent, Adri Adonvich, Scott A, Zach Kejmar, Paul Mudlong, Crypt Torque, RJM, Dharmendra Patel, Dr. Tulio Clips, and Dax Brody. All right, I'm going to call it there. Wow. That's a lot. Oh, and Black Sheep and Blockchain Enthusiast and Armel Hall, Vug Jiang, Luis H, Aaron M. All right, I'll be here all day. There's so many of you guys showing up in chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. I don't know if we're going to be able to... Oh, and Silent and Evil. All right, I got to stop. I'm sorry. I love all of you guys. We're just going to be here all day if I keep saying names. I love all of you guys. Merry Christmas. Really looking forward to spending the holidays with my family. My wife is right now somewhere making a ton of cookies. Like, she's just making a absolute metric ton of cookies and fudge. And I don't know about you guys, if you have a wife or a husband or a daughter or a mother or a father or a son or a brother or sister, an in-law, or whatever, a cousin that is a baker. But if you have a baker in your family, you're a happy individual. Like, I tell you what, I'm putting on weight, not really, but I love some homemade cookies, some homemade fudge. My wife is incredible at it. Incredible at it. Siobhan Golay said, I'm sorry, Jeb learned a new language, or is it really names? Anyways, just fun. Yes, those are really names. We got some really cool names, very multicultural names from all walks of life. I love that. I love that. That is so cool that we get to interact with people from all around the world here on Coffee and Crypto. We have a lot to talk about today, and just because it is the last day of the week, just because it's Friday, just because we're going into a 4-day weekend, does not mean that we get to slack off. We've got a lot to cover today, so let's go ahead and dive right on into it. We need to start with coin market cap. Right now, Bitcoin is trading at $43,600. It is up 3.6% over the last 7 days, currently trading at $853 billion in market capitalization. Ethereum up to 23.29. It is up 4% in the last 7 days. And Solana, at the same time, is up 23.17%. My bus number in middle school. It is up to $94. XRP is trading sideways. Cardano is trading sideways. Avalanche is up. DOT is up. Chainlink is up. Polygon is rallying dramatically in the last 24 hours, up 8.41%. Very excited to see these Christmas rallies in altcoins, and honestly wishing that my dollar cost averaging day had fallen on Thursday this week. But oh well, that's part of it. Some weeks you're going to get a great deal, some weeks you're not, but that's okay. We might catch some of these movements in the middle of the rally. As you guys know, I am aggressively dollar cost averaging into the top 20 or so. We have several positions that we're taking outside of the top 20, but generally speaking about the top 20. Everything from Solana, XRP, Cardano, Avalanche, Dogecoin, Polygon, Chainlink, Polkadot. Let's see. Internet Computer, Cosmos, Uniswap, Stellar, Near. Pretty much everything up here in the top 10, up here in the top 20 to the top 30, we're dollar cost averaging into if it meets certain criteria that I have covered in previous streams. I can go over that again if you would like. But today, we're going to spend a good deal of time here on the Bitcoin chart. If you did not see our video yesterday, I explained in that video why a $42,000 rally may be coming. Unfortunately, YouTube didn't really pick that video up. It didn't get very many views, but if you didn't watch it, I would recommend you go back and watch it because I explained in a great deal of detail exactly what I'm about to talk about here. So if you want to see more on the pattern that I'm about to show you, that video that just went up on the channel yesterday is one that I would encourage you to watch. In that video, we talked about how Bitcoin is currently in a major ascending triangle pattern that should not be ignored. This ascending triangle pattern has Bitcoin sat right above the 20 daily exponential moving average, which sits right here. It has Bitcoin sat above the uptrending level of support, and it has Bitcoin sat above the Fibonacci golden pocket right here between about $39,000 and $41,000. Bitcoin, therefore, has convergent support above roughly $41,000 and is coming up and retesting $44,500 once again. By the way, with a lot of new people joining the stream. And so if you are new to technical analysis is the reading of the price action charts. There are things called indicators on the on the price action charts. They give us concepts such as support and resistance. Support is the floor, resistance is the ceiling. The bulls, i.e. the people buying the market, have to move the price through the resistance, i.e. the ceiling. And for right now, our resistance is $44,500. We're trying to discern whether Bitcoin can hold its floor down here around $41,000, bounce and rally up through 44.5. If so, then we've got an exciting price target pushing 50 later on in the stream that we're going to talk about. So if you're new to technical analysis, don't worry. I've been doing this every day for 6 years. I have come up with a lot of different ways to make it as simple as I possibly can. And so I'm going to try and help you to understand everything that we are covering. I want to make sure that we are as beginner friendly as possible while also not leaving out the nuance. And if I can do that, then I will have succeeded as a teacher of technical analysis, being able to bring you advanced concepts in an easily digestible manner. Now, Bitcoin finds itself in a pattern that is called an ascending triangle pattern. We have a flat level of resistance, uptrending level of support. The reason that this is important is because we can see the bears have rejected us at 44.5, but the bulls are obviously in charge because we are continuing to put higher lows into place. That gives extra pressure on the resistance, which likely will lead to a breakout above the resistance. This is a pattern that we saw take place about 3 years ago, almost exactly, back here at the beginning of the last bull market. Take note of the timing even. The beginning of the last bull market. There are quite a lot of similarities in the two patterns that we're about to discuss. One of the similarities is this uptrending level of support right here. You can see that there was another long-term uptrending level of support that had been in play for roughly a year. In the exact same way that we have a long-term uptrending level of support right here that's been in play for roughly a year. So there's a lot of parallels between these two ascending triangle patterns. You can see the ascending triangle pattern right here. At the same time, Bitcoin was finding support on the 20 daily exponential moving average. It had double topped at 20K, the resistance once before, and it came up a third time and broke. That is exactly what we're seeing happening right now, except we have not seen the breakout yet, but that's where the prediction comes in. You can see we've come up and tested this level once, twice. If you want to call it on the daily chart one test, then fine. Maybe this is the second test. Maybe we need a third test up here in a little while. But regardless, Bitcoin is in an ascending triangle pattern. Those purely statistically speaking, have a 70% chance of breaking to the upside, which is absolutely wonderful for us because we're hoping Bitcoin will rally. The last time this occurred, Bitcoin was also witnessing a major uptick on MACD. You can see MACD started uptrending very aggressively. RSI started uptrending very aggressively here. We're looking at the exact same thing happening right now with MACD and RSI uptrending very aggressively. We have not broken bullish yet, of course, so they have not crossed bullish as far as they possibly can, but that cross is going to come in due time should we have a break to the upside. We also can look at the VRVP, the visible range volume profile, and see that we have an absolutely massive amount of support beneath us. Huge support uptrend right here. Let's remove our drawings. Huge amount of support right here at $41,800. Major resistance at $43,700. That's exactly where we are right now. Bitcoin needs to break a few $100s to the upside, and then we will be home free. But generally speaking, we have a good deal of support beneath us. Even in this valley right here on VRVP, we've got a huge support zone in the Fibonacci golden pocket. So all of this points towards Bitcoin having very strong support, very strong bulls, very weak resistance. For any of you guys who have not gone through the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, you will learn that in CT2A if you sign up for it. If you don't know what CT2A is, that is our one-stop shop to learn everything that you need to know about technical analysis so that you can hit the ground running in this bull market making money. You're going to be so much more likely to actually profit in this space if you understand how to read price action charts. And one of the things we teach in CT2A is none other than what I just said. The strength of the support and resistance and the strength of the bulls and the bears. If we, as technical analysts, can get a grasp on who's stronger, the bulls, i.e. the buyers, or the bears, i.e. the sellers, that will give us a great deal of context for what's going to happen next in the market. Likewise, if we can gain a degree of perspective on how strong the support and the resistance is, that too will gain us a great deal of perspective on the market. Because you need bulls that are stronger than the resistance to break the resistance. And you need bears that are stronger than the support to break the support. And by the way, just to make it even a little bit more confusing, but hopefully it's something that you can track with me, the resistance is actually just a large number of bears all at the same place. In the same way, support is just a large number of bulls all in the same place. Think about it like warfare. If you have a trench warfare situation, the resistance is nothing more than a bunch of the, let's say, Germans in 1917 on one side of the no man's land. The support, if you're a Brit, is nothing more than a bunch of Brits in French on one side of no man's land. So you kind of get the picture here. The support and the resistance is very important. The bulls and the bears is very important, and they're actually just manifestations of each other. Right now, we have very strong support, i.e. when we fall down to these levels, we bounce and hold very well. This is almost the supporting infrastructure of an advancing army. If the army gets repelled from the attack, how far back do they have to retreat to go and get reinforcements? Right? We also know the bulls are very strong because the bulls, think about the offensive side of the army, are able to push the market very, very far, very quickly with a lot of strength, a lot of exuberance. Now, look at the bears. They're very weak. Why? Well, we're right up here next to their resistance. Obviously, the bearish offensive has failed. The resistance, likewise, does not seem to be very strong because we keep going back and testing it. Right? So Bitcoin is likely to break out here. And that's exactly what Lux Algo is saying, which is the star of our show today. In the last 3 days, we've been anticipating a buy signal on Lux Algo, and we finally got it yesterday. You can see the buy signal came in here at $43,700. We do have a spinning top, 2 spinning tops in succession, which indicates indecision. But Lux Algo gives us a bit of a tiebreaker. The buy signal gives us a price target with a bottom at $46,500 all the way up to $49,000. I anticipated this buy signal would be a little bit higher. You can even see the box I drew up here. I got the bottom where the top was. So, funnily enough, Lux Algo is actually giving a slightly lower take profit, probably because of the falling over of the resistance zone, as you can see right here. But nevertheless, we do have a buy signal on Lux Algo, and that buy signal does point towards at least a $46,500 take profit. You might be wondering, well, Jeb, how actually viable are Lux Algo take profits? Well, in history, they are, let's just say, extremely viable. For example, the last buy signal that we had on Bitcoin right here gave us a take profit between $40,200 and $42,600. If we run the chart forward, you can see that's exactly where we went to. It converted to a stop loss right here because we had a sell signal, but that's exactly where we rallied to. Excuse me, not a stop loss. Yes, so we ended up hitting that take profit. The same thing can be said back over here. Right? You have a buy signal right here. The take profit on this buy signal was up around 29.3 to 31.5. Oh my goodness, that's a very high level. No way we're going to hit that. And we hit it. Boom. Bitcoin almost always goes to its Lux algo take profit. So if Lux algo is giving us a take profit above 45, then that gives me even more confidence than I already had that we're going to end up breaking 45. And if we break 45, we're probably going to 50. The take profit is between between 46.5 and 49,000. But the actual major resistance that we're also looking at there has to do with the 0.786 Fibonacci level at $50,316. We do also have price action resistance right here based on this high at $48,000 that was set at the end of March last year. So those are both resistance levels that we're going to want to pay attention to, and they roughly line up with the current Lux algo take profit. As you can see, Lux algo is aligning very nicely there. Another level that I want to show you is the Fibonacci retracement and the Fibonacci golden pocket. When you're on a linear chart, Fibonacci golden pocket jumps around based on whether you're on linear or logarithmic chart. We make our home at this channel on the logarithmic chart because most analysts and traders do, and so we want to be able to see what they're seeing. But it's important to look at both. The Fibonacci golden pocket for the linear chart, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's okay for now. Just know that it's a slightly different way of reading the chart. It's sitting here between $48,000 and $50,200. That gives us a ceiling right up here between 48 and 50, which is exactly where Lux algo is pointing, more or less. So we have our next major resistance zone, basically starting at 48, going up to about 50.5, and I'd give the likelihood of us rallying there in the next week and a half about a 75%. I, as an analyst, cannot tell you for certain what's going to happen. That would be asinine. That would not be responsible of me, considering that I have thousands of people watching this channel. In fact, tens of thousands of people watching this channel. Some weeks, over 100,000 people watching this channel every single week. And you guys are literally making financial decisions based on what I say. You guys know that I recommend doing your own research. I recommend thinking for yourself. I recommend learning technical analysis so you can go and check my work and say, I agree with Jeb or I don't agree with Jeb. I recommend an investment in your education so that you can really take responsibility for your own actions. But brass tacks, people do just make trades based off of what I say. I don't recommend that. I recommend you thinking for yourself and using me as a trusted advisor if you trust me. But I do know what happens, so I want to be as careful as I can. But what I will say is that while I can never give a 100% guarantee on what the market's going to do, because I don't have a magical hot tub, I don't have a magical 8-ball, I don't have a DeLorean, I don't have any of that. I do know a guy that has a DeLorean, though. I know a guy. He's literally got a DeLorean time machine. It doesn't travel through time, but it literally is a 100% rebuild of the DeLorean. I know that guy. So I can get a DeLorean if I need. Doesn't have a real functioning flux capacitor in it, just one with the light ups in it. Very cool. I see it driving around town sometime. But since I can't tell the future for certain, I can't ever, as an analyst, be totally certain of what's going to happen. That is not something that's possible for anybody that's predicting the future. But what I can give you is a prediction. I can give you a prediction, and I can give you a confidence in that prediction. Right now, I'm giving it about a 75% confidence that we're going to see a break above $45,000 within the next 10 days. And I'm honestly leaning a little bit conservative on that from what I really feel. I actually think it's a little bit more likely than that, but I want to be a little bit more conservative. I definitely see it happening a little bit sooner than that. But I want to give room to the fact that Bitcoin could come back down and backtest this uptrending level of support and then bounce and rally later, which would put the rally into the first week of January. And so we want to keep that in mind, that Bitcoin is not necessarily just going to break out today, but that a major breakout is probably right around the corner. So why is this important? Well, if we go back to that example here in December of last year, of 2020, 3 years ago, Bitcoin would go on to rally $45,000 in 120 days. Right now, we are facing similar exceptional buy pressure that also cannot be ignored and also is driving huge amounts of investment capital into Bitcoin. And that would be none other than the BlackRock ETF. We have had some more developments as of late from the BlackRock ETF. One of the developments that we have witnessed is a alleged call between SEC and many of the different BlackRock filers in what's being called a joint call. This doesn't happen very often. When the SEC talks to ETF applicants, they normally talk to them on an individual one-by-one basis. But apparently, and this is not being confirmed, but this is being reported by Fox correspondents, apparently there was a joint call between SEC and many of the different leadership teams that are kind of presiding over these ETF applications, and they were talking about something in very particular having to do with in-kind redemption. You own Bitcoin. It's not actually Bitcoin. It is almost like a certificate of deposit. It's just like any other security, it is an IOU. Basically, I own Bitcoin, but I don't own Bitcoin because somebody else is doing the custody. The SEC seems to be very interested in limiting the ability for in-kind transactions, which essentially means that you can't go and redeem the ETF for Bitcoin. You can only redeem the ETF for cash. They also are very interested in the ETF applicants not being able to redeem Bitcoin for each other and starting to trade Bitcoin back and forth, but only redeeming it in an in a cash basis. This is kind of a random little quirky part of the way that the whole thing works. It's not headline news. It's not something that frankly really matters all that much to us, the public. It matters a whole lot to SEC. It matters a whole lot to the ETF filers. But the reason that it's important and that it's in the news right now is for two reasons. Number one, the SEC was meeting with multiple of these companies at the same time. Again, allegedly. It probably did happen, though. This is very obviously believable. It's kind of a weird thing to make up. They're meeting with multiple of the filers at once, which gives you some kind of pretext that, wait a second, all these people are probably going to be competitors. Why have them all in the same room? Well, why have them all in the same room unless they've all got some kind of hint that they're all going to get approved at the same time, right? Why bother? Why bother with these rules and setting up all of these different functions of how the ETF is going to operate if you weren't going to approve them? Why would the SEC go to the lengths of saying, hey, change this language, change this language? Essentially, the meetings were about scrubbing all documentation and application of the language of in-kind redemption, or even leaving open the possibility of in-kind redemption. They don't want to approve anything with any possibility of an in-kind redemption. That's something that's very important to the SEC right now. So why get all of these ETF filers in the same room in a conference call talking about just this if they weren't going to get approved? You got to expect that BlackRock was one of those applicants that was in that meeting. We don't know who the others are. One of them was probably ARK Invest. But why bother? And the second reason that this is important is the fact that many of them were there at the same time. So the first point here is that why bother making sure the language is perfect if they didn't expect an application? Think about it like this. When you give somebody a contract, let me put it from this perspective. We're on an outside perspective, and we're watching two people negotiate a contract. If you see those two people negotiating the contract, and it's not just, it's not just reading the contract. It's more of, well, what if we change this? Well, what if we change that? Well, hang on. What about this? I don't know if that makes sense. Oh, I like that. Can we double down on that? Can we add a little bit more of this, a little bit less of that? What does that signal to you? If you see two people negotiating a contract and they're sitting there nitpicking at the details, number one, it means it's an important contract. Obviously, an ETF application is a hugely important contract. There's $1 trillion market that we're talking about here. But what does it mean if you see two people negotiating a contract and they're negotiating every single line? It means it's probably going to be signed. It means both parties are probably interested in getting the thing ratified. And so that's the first point. The second point is that they have all of the participants, not all of them, but many of the participants in the same room. We have been saying for the last several months, actually, that the SEC is probably going to greenlight many or all of the ETF applicants all at the same time. Gary Gensler realizes that he has no leg to stand on standing against the ETFs. Gary Gensler and the SEC is on a losing streak. They lost the XRP case. Then they tried to appeal one component of it, like 1/4 of it, and then walked away from that. They lost the Grayscale case. Changpeng Zhao basically fessed up to what was done wrong there, so they kind of won that, kind of not, because CZ is still a pariah in the cryptocurrency space. Everybody still loves him. Coinbase is going to be making a motion in early January to have the entire case dismissed by the judge because of just the kind of nonsense that the SEC is spewing right now. So the SEC is on a losing streak, and they kind of realize, I think, that they have to play ball with this industry. This is a $1.5 trillion industry. You don't say no to BlackRock, and you don't say no to Bitcoin. You can't. It's not possible. Let me just pull my soapbox out from under my desk real quick and stand on it. You don't say no to Bitcoin. You know why? Because it was built in a permissionless fashion. You don't get to say no to Bitcoin because Bitcoin didn't ask for your permission in the first place. That's one of the things I love about it. I am not someone who is just against authority for the sake of being against authority. I am against tyranny. And I don't believe that there is any good reason that the United States government should be stopping people that are perfectly capable of doing it, that are adults and make their own money, from being able to invest in Bitcoin. I see absolutely no reason that the government should stand in the middle of an investor and the Bitcoin that they are trying to purchase and say, no, you can't do that. I have absolutely no interest in that kind of tyranny. I understand if you're trying to build an ETF, you want to make sure that you are getting the pricing data correct. I understand if you're trying to build an ETF, you want to make sure that it's being advertised appropriately. I understand if you're trying to build an ETF, that you want to make sure that it's not false advertising, there's not going to be market manipulation, that it's fair. I get that, and that is something that does need to be taken seriously, and the SEC does have a job, and right now it's starting to seem like they're actually doing that job. They're actually helping to put things in place so the BlackRock ETF can be successful. And the other ETFs can be successful. What I do not agree with is the government saying, no, you cannot invest in that because you are untrustworthy with your own money, as if the government knows how to spend your money better than you do. No, actually, they do know how to spend your money better than you do. They know how to waste your money even better than you do. That's why they have to put in place a 50% tax on everything. Depending on how much money you make, almost half of your money, if you actually just paid all the taxes instead of figuring out all the loopholes, which is totally legal and ethical, by the way, because they're there in the tax law, you would end up paying 30 to 50% of your income in taxes through sales tax, property tax, county tax, estate tax, income tax. It's absolutely ridiculous. We, the people, have the right to invest in what we believe we should invest in. And you know what? People are going to get burned because they're going to make mistakes. They're not going to do their research. They're not going to make wise decisions. They're going to take out too much debt. They're going to do dumb things. I've done dumb things with money. You've done dumb things with money. And you know what? Natural selection is a thing. If you make a mistake, you learn from it, you move on. That's life. And trying to baby us and saying, no, you can't invest in that doesn't get anybody anywhere. You just make an entire society dumber when it comes to investment. Let people make mistakes. Let people learn the hard way sometimes that they need to do their research, and let them go and participate in a market that is going to change their life. I do believe that the ETFs are going to be approved, and I do believe that Gary Gensler, as much as he doesn't like that because he's the guy sitting in the ivory tower with the ability to say yes or no, I think he's starting to realize that he cannot stop the fact of the matter that people are going to invest in Bitcoin whether he likes it or not. In the same way, I tell you guys all the time, I would like for Bitcoin to do this. I would like for Bitcoin to drop so I can buy more. I would like for Bitcoin to rally because it'd be healthy for the market. I'd like for Bitcoin to go through a correction. But what do I always say? I always say, but ultimately, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter a slim bit what I want. What I want has no bearing on the market. There are things that would be healthy for the market. I can prescribe, just like a doctor to a patient, I can say it would be best for you to lay off the sugar for the next month, but I have no control over that. That is completely in their wheelhouse. That is completely in the patient's discretion. In the same way, I can say I would like for Bitcoin to do this, but ultimately Bitcoin's going to do what Bitcoin's going to do. I can make advisements, or I can make recommendations, not financial advice, but I can give wisdom to you guys and what you do, but I have no control over you, and I don't want control over you. I want you to be sovereign over your decision-making. Gary Gensler, I don't know if he thinks that way. It seems that he wants to control the cryptocurrency space and say, no, you can't invest in it through an ETF. It's the one thing I have control over. I'm Gary Gensler, so I'm going to say no. I think he realizes at this point that he doesn't have enough fuel to continue saying no to that. And that's why I think that many of the ETFs are going to be approved. And I think that many of them are going to be approved within the next month. And so that gives us a huge, huge opportunity, because you are going to see millions of people and trillions of dollars flow into Bitcoin through those ETFs over the next 10 years. It might take a year or two to get off the ground. That happens with launches sometimes, right? The stock market's not worth $30 trillion overnight. That took 150 years. But it happened. And in a similar way, Bitcoin is going to be exceptionally successful with the ETFs, even if it's a failed launch, even if it launches and nobody signs up for it. I don't think that's going to happen. But even if it doesn't, It is going to be a huge deal over time. It is going to be a slow and steady wins the race kind of thing. We've never had a Bitcoin ETF before. It may take some time, or it might just be out the gate, boom, just everybody's buying it. Who knows? We have now reports that many companies are going to allow people to buy Bitcoin in their 401ks, and that people are obviously going to be able to buy a Bitcoin into their individually managed IRAs. Huge investment is coming into Bitcoin from the average individual that doesn't want the custody. That's one of the biggest reasons why you would buy a Bitcoin ETF, is so you don't have to manage the custody. You manage the ownership, you make or lose the value, but you don't have to worry about the custody. You don't have to worry about somebody hacking your Coinbase and draining your Coinbase. You don't have to worry about somebody hacking into your computer and draining your Exodus. You don't have to worry about sending cryptocurrency to the wrong wallet and it getting deleted and lost into the ether forever. You don't have to worry about that stuff. You just say, I'd like Bitcoin. I've got Bitcoin. Cool beans. I don't have to worry about the custody. Somebody tries to hack my account. Well, it is a legal certificate of ownership. So I can just say, hey, Fidelity, that's got my name on it. So they can hack the account all I want. I want it back. And then boom, they've got it back. That level of security in investing in Bitcoin is a huge deal to the average American. You guys in chat might not realize how big of a deal that is because you're already here. You're already willing to buy into Bitcoin, even if it means that you have to hold on to the Bitcoin yourself, even if it means you have to take self-custody. I think that's a bonus of Bitcoin, that we get to be self-custodians, but many people see that as a drawback. Those people are not people that are dumb. Those are people that have different priorities. And if they want to let somebody else be the custodian through the form of an ETF, then so be it. Let them invest in the market in a way that actually impacts the supply and demand, as an ETF does. There's going to be a massive amount of investment from people that like Bitcoin and want to realize the appreciation of this hugely futuristic asset class, make the money that Bitcoin's going to bring without having to worry about self-custody, without having to worry about being hacked and having it stolen. And that's a really big deal for a lot of people. And a lot of people are going to put it into their retirement accounts. And guess what happens when you put money into a retirement account? It sits there for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. And in a retirement account that, guess what? You take a tax penalty if you sell. I'm not talking for a year. I'm talking for decades. Capiche? Like, does that make sense? That takes so much Bitcoin out of custody, just like that. Sorry, out of circulation, just like that, because it's locked up in retirement accounts for the long term. That sends market cap through the freaking roof. So let's keep all that in mind. It's coming. All right. Let's see. Let's read some chat. Really appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. Gary worried about Hester Pierce taking his job if his boss is replaced. Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen, to be honest. We have right to invest in Bitcoin, but the regulations got 30% fiat tax on Bitcoin and crypto. Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. Josh Wakeman, DC, said, hashtag natural selection is a thing. It is. Natural selection is definitely a thing, and it works in cryptocurrencies as well. You know, the old joke goes, and I obviously don't. No, that's terrible. I'm not even gonna say it. I can't even remember the exact joke anyway. I'm not gonna say it. They want those tax not to get washed. Yeah. Shadrach Frost said, folks, smash the like button and give back the love and support that Jeb brings to us every day. This young man is a blessing to us in so many ways. The support helps him and his channel. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, if you guys could hit the like button. Let's see if we can get to 300 likes. We got 800 people watching right now. By the way, I think this is the highest concurrent viewership stream that we've done in a while. And so I just want to thank you guys for that. From the bottom of my heart, I love coming on Coffee and Crypto every day. It is one of my highlights because I love interacting with you guys. I love interacting with the community. I love getting to read your chats and read your names and just have a connection with you guys, because I really do believe, I mean, I'm not trying to sell you anything here. I mean, obviously there are things I'm trying to sell you because I think they're good for you, but I'm not trying to sell you anything right now. I'm just here to tell you, I love seeing you guys grow and seeing the stories that you guys have, where you send me screenshots and you show me your portfolio. I'm like, whoa, you got like 600 grand in there. Or you say, hey, I've been watching you for 5 years. I got into crypto because of you. Now look at this. I've got a $250,000 portfolio. I'm like, whoa. The life-changing stories that I get from people that watch this stream are just, they make it so amazing. It's so cool. So thank you so much. If you guys are new here, consider hitting the subscribe button. We've got a lot of great content on the channel, I think. If you're interested, then you can sign up for you can hit the subscribe button and the post notification bell so you won't miss a single beat. All right, let's read some more chat. Real quick, before we read some more chat, I do just want to let you guys know that today's video is also brought to you in part by NordVPN, right there. By NordVPN. And the reason that you're interested in NordVPN, the reason that I'm interested in NordVPN is because NordVPN is going to be a critical component of your security architecture. We've got a huge amount of investment coming into the cryptocurrency space over the course of the next several months. That is going to lead to a massive appreciation on Bitcoin. And when that appreciation happens on Bitcoin, you're going to make a lot of money. That being said, if it gets hacked and stolen and drained from your accounts and goes to some hacker in the Maldives, then you kind of just did all that work for nothing. You don't want that to happen. Now, you still have to be responsible. I'm not saying NordVPN gives you the ability to be irresponsible, but it is going to protect you from hackers, from malware, from phishing emails. It's going to protect your internet connection from people tracking you. It's also going to allow you to browse freely on the internet where you're not going to be censored. It is an incredible tool for you to have because if you believe in cryptocurrency, if you believe in financial sovereignty, in being sovereign over your own wealth, not having somebody else telling you what to do with it, if you believe in not having somebody tell you where you can and cannot go, if you believe in, and again, I'm not saying authority is a bad thing, but there is censorship and there is tyranny, and then there's, responsible authority, right? But the police have a place. But tyranny and trying to dictate where you can and cannot go on the internet, that's getting into tyranny territory. And if you want to stay safe from hackers that are trying to steal your cryptocurrency, one of the best investments you will make in your security is in NordVPN. And you can sign up down below with the link in the description, nordvpn.com/Jeb, and get 4 months free with a 2-year plan, get a massive discount for Christmas, and do it all with a 30-day money-back refund guarantee. Absolutely something that you should invest in. We've had a ton of people investing in their security by signing up for NordVPN, and they're loving it so far. Justin Sturgis said, Jeb for president. I think I would pull my hair out if I was president. Good Lord. Mike Lowry said, dude, that NordVPN ad in your other video was hilarious. Shadrach Frost said, I agree 100%, Mike Lowry. Which one? The one that just went out yesterday or the one before that? Tom Wilkes in chat. Tom, good to see you. I'm still waiting on a text back from you about what we talked about the other day. Said Justin Sturgis, Jeb has too much integrity to be president. Yeah, I don't know. I would be very... I've thought about it. Now, obviously, it takes a lot of luck to get, in a position where you are able to end up being the president. I don't think I would ever get elected, to be honest with you, because I am. You guys might not know that. You might not be able to guess this about me, but I'm pretty cut and dry about what's right and what's wrong. And there's a lot of wrong stuff going on in our country, and I think I would probably tick off most of America by saying, "Hey, this is wrong. I love you. I want you to have a better life. But you got to leave this, this, and this behind if you want that." And that's not really something that gets you elected because that's kind of the opposite of being political. Shadrach Frost said, yesterday's video is the one that I was referring to, especially the ending disclaimer. I laughed out loud. Mike Lowry said, yeah, yesterday's video. Thank you. I thought it was funny. I was like, is this too far? Am I being insensitive to homeless people? I really hope I'm not, because I have a huge heart for people that are struggling financially. I really do. I really, really do want to help people. So I was like, is this funny? I don't know. So I put, yeah, I don't know. If you guys haven't seen it yet, go back and watch it. Is the support email valid today and ever, Jeb? Shadrach Shivangole, I'm sorry, said, yes, it is. If you want, you can also email me directly, jeb@cryptojeb.com. Deep Diver said, truth hurts. Yep. Schmedley B said, agree with that sentiment. Yep. Tell us what you would run on if you could run now. I would run on putting Christ back in the center of our country. That's exactly what I would run on, and that's probably why I wouldn't get elected, because most Christians would not vote for me for that reason. I would run on us putting our morality back in place. That's what I would run on. I would run on us being kind to each other. I would run on us being fair. I would run on us being honest. I would run on us when he was reviled, he reviled not again. 1 Peter chapter 2. I would run on treating people with compassion and care. And I would also run on putting the politics out of economics. There's so much politics in economics, and it's nonsense. I would run on the phrase, "In God we trust." That's what I would run on. And I would not get elected for that reason. I know I wouldn't. The country's gone too far away from loving their creator. And that's okay. Look, I mean, people have free will. I am not bitter or upset at anybody. I love the people of this country. I love them very, very much. I care about them so much. Put it like this. And that, you know what? This is a great place to wrap out. I would love to go into Christmas with this story. There was a video I saw recently, and someone said it like this. They said, the reason that I tell people about the gospel of Jesus Christ is because one day I know that I, as a Christian, will be meeting my Savior and my Creator in the clouds, in heaven. And when I turn around and look back on earth, I don't want to look down and see the thousands of people that I ran into in my life looking up at me that are not going to be joining me, saying, why didn't you tell me this was going to happen? And then me turn back around and look down at them and say, because I was worried about offending you. Because I was worried about offending you, or I was worried about not earning your sale, or I was worried about not earning your subscription, or I was worried about YouTube taking the channel down, or I was worried about being killed. I didn't have the brass to tell you that this was going to happen, that there is a heaven and there is a hell. And if we love God and we trust in him and we surrender our life to his son, Jesus Christ, we will be saved and we will meet him in the clouds and we will be in heaven forevermore with him. If we should turn away and repent of our sin, and we should love him and we should love people and love our neighbor and care for them and have compassion on them. This makes me tear up, guys. I think the reason that the church has failed in America is because people think they have to go somewhere other than the church to find love. And that's sad, because the church has failed if the church is not the first place that the heathen run to find love and care and compassion. I think that's why the church has failed in the United States. You've got to speak the truth, but you've got to do it in love. And if you fail in either one of those, then you failed in all of it. And I think I would fail if I ran for president, because that's what I would run on. It's the only thing I can run on. It's the only thing that our country really needs, above all else. So, I love you. Every one of us has free will, but it is my dream that as much as I may offend some people in chat, maybe if I even offend 90% of you, even if I lose my channel over it, on that day, I don't want to look down and you look up at me and say, why didn't you tell me? I want you to look up at me and say, well, at least you told me. But it was my choice. That's the way that God looks at it. Falling into the conspiracy a little bit, but what would your take be if we found life on another planet or aliens? Not little green men, lol. I don't know. Be interesting. I don't know. Could definitely happen. All right. I, the Beholder, said you can't take Jesus out of who you are if you've accepted him as your Lord and Savior. Can't do it. Church should be a hospital for broken people. That's right. That's absolutely right. And you know what? Sometimes you've got to do heart surgery on somebody in a hospital, and sometimes it hurts. But the goal of a Christian is to be able to help do heart surgery on somebody without killing the patient, and while also making sure that patient knows they're cared for. Making sure they know that they're loved. That's what a good doctor does. And I think that's what a good Christian does also. They're willing to do heart surgery on a patient that has asked for it. A good doctor doesn't force surgery on somebody. It's up to them. It's their choice. It's the patient's choice. But if they are willing to take that surgery, then they do it with a lot of love. The Bible doesn't speak on extraterrestrial life. That's correct. It does not. Could be out there. Guys, we are going to go ahead and wrap out the stream. Like I said, was going to go ahead and end on that note. That's the most important note that I could leave you on. Christmas is a time to remember our Savior. And let us not forget that. Let us not forget the gift that he gave us freely. In 3 days, we will be celebrating Christmas. And the story of Christmas is one of Jesus Christ coming as a baby, who was also God, the creator of the universe, to save us from our own sin. And if we should turn from that sin and we should believe on him, we should be saved and we would be with him for eternity. And we would be different people. We would be salt and light to the world. And we would show them his light. And when they look on us, they would not glorify us, but they would glorify our Father which is in heaven. Be ye the salt and light of the earth. Let your work so shine before men that when they look on you, they would glorify your Father which is in heaven. That's Matthew 6. Christmas season is coming up. And don't forget that 365 days of the year, not just one day of the year, Jesus came as a baby, was raised a boy into a man, lived a perfect and sinless life, obeyed and honored his Father, loved people, healed the sick, changed lives, brought healing, restoration, saved people from the deepest depths of the pain and despair that they've gone through. And then he went to a cross and he died for our sins. And if we would believe in him and believe in the fact that that happened, it did literally happen. If we would believe in that, believe in him as the Messiah, we would be changed, and we would have his Holy Spirit come in and dwell in us, and we would be born again. And we would be completely different people, and we would change the world. And that is the best gift that I can give you moving into Christmas, is to share the gospel with you guys. And if even one of you guys chooses to believe on that, literally my entire life's work is worth it if one of you believes that, because we're talking about eternity here. If you enjoyed today's stream, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned. We got a lot more content coming. And yes, I know we're not talking about TA in the last 10 minutes. 98% of what we talk about is TA. But I'm looking forward to Christmas, and I'm looking forward to bringing you guys more to NordVPN. You can find the link for that in the description box down below. And also, make sure to check out CT2A. If you guys have not already, technical analysis is another gift I can give you. Nowhere near as important as the gospel, but it is a gift that I can give you. And right now, I'm giving it to you for 20% off. You can get access to CT2A right now, and you can start learning the same way thousands of other students have learned technical analysis, so that you can learn how to interact with these markets, analyze the prices, see what the market's going to do next, and make profitable trades. It's simple. Technical analysis takes a little bit of time to learn. It's a little bit complicated, but I break it down in a way that's as simple as possible. At least that's my goal. I want to be able to take the highly advanced concepts, make them simple so that the everyday person can understand it. Not that I'm not an everyday person. I'm no better than you. I don't mean it that way. I want you, somebody who may or may not have experience in TA, to be able to understand what I'm talking about every day here on stream. And because I know that if you learn that, then you'll have a much better understanding of what the market's going to do next, and you'll be able to succeed in it. So if you're interested, you can sign up with the link in the description box down below for 20% off. Using coupon code Christmas2023 is actually baked into the link. It'll automatically apply. All right. Shadrach Frost said, hashtag CT2A, invest in your education. Joke Hedge Leon. I hope I'm saying your name right, my friend. Said, is CT2A applicable for the stock market too, other than crypto? Technical analysis was founded about 130 years ago by a guy named Dow. He is the fellow that created the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and he's also the founder of the Wall Street Journal. He started with the Dow Jones, with the Dow Jones Rail Average and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. He founded technical analysis by comparing the way that the Dow Jones Industrial Average and the Dow Jones Rail Average moved alongside each other, and based on the way that they were interacting with each other, he could more or less predict what each one was going to do. He founded technical analysis in the stock market. So actually, technical analysis is a foreigner in crypto, not a foreigner in the stock market. Its home is in the stock market, and we're applying it to crypto. Technical analysis got its start in the stock market. So absolutely, everything we teach in CT2A is totally applicable to the stock market. I mean, some things are obviously not going to translate over. We have a video on Coinbase, right? You don't buy stocks on Coinbase. But technical analysis is exactly the same, 99.9% the same in the stock market. One of the biggest differences you're going to have are gaps. Those don't really show up in cryptocurrency, but other than that, yes, everything that is taught in CT2A is going to be absolutely applicable over there. Pew Pew Poom 2 said, Jeb is ignoring me. Jeb be ignoring me. What's going on? I don't see any other messages. I'm sorry, Mr. Pew Pew Poom 2. I don't see another message. I hope that it's not being like censored by YouTube. I don't know why it's doing that. Will the ETFs be limited to accredited investors, or have you heard anything about that? I think they're going. I don't think they're going to be limited to the accredited investors. I'm pretty sure they're going to be open to the public. So yes. Cryptopher said, need an email if possible. Support at cryptojeb.com or Jeb McAfee at cryptojeb.com. Both of those will work. Let's see. Hope ADA will still run. I think it will. I think ADA is going to do very well. Jerome said, Christmas equals Christ Mass. Make sure you head to church on Christmas, folks. Luckily, with the church in America, I think they're starting to realize that the lack of love is one of the reasons that the church has failed at its job in America. And I think a lot of churches are kind of learning from that. So I am hoping there's going to be a revival. I think that there can be. But I do hope that you will go to a church on Christmas. And if you go to one, I do hope that they are loving and they're there to support you. Now, look, good church is there to convict you about what's right and wrong. But in love. If we do what we do and we don't have love, it's all for nothing. That's 1 Corinthians 13, I think it says that there. All right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap it out. I do appreciate all of you for tuning in. Pete Schwartz said, coffee and crypto rocks like Tampa basketball. There you go. Now, that's a comparison I haven't heard before. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's stream, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, check out NordVPN, Lux Algo, CT2A, all those down below. And, yeah, looking forward to Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good